Hello all. Today we will discuss about the environmental impact assessment EIA. So EIA basically is the assessment process of evaluating the environmental impact of a proposed project or development, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural and human health impact. And this process also predict and about the effect of a proposed industrial infrastructural project on the environment, and it also prevent the proposed activity and project from being approved without proper oversight and assessment. So basically without EIA we cannot do large project, and it's government's responsibility and people's responsibility to assess the environmental impact if any large project is doing for the environment, and it can be harmful if we don't assess and we don't take into measures about the environmental impact for that particular project. So first we will discuss about the EIA. So basically uh, pollutions in air, water and land has led to ecological imbalance and potential health hazards. So as a result, regulations are there and policies are there to protect the environmental uh, conditions and environmental betterment. Government form some policies for any type of development. So we can sum up the EIA as like EIA is the official appraisal process to identify, predict, evaluate, and justify the ecological, social, and related biophysical effect of a proposed policy, program, or project on the environment. So basically, EIA is mandatory for any policy, any program, and any project related to the environment. Any policy, program, and project which is directly responsible for any changes in environment, there go a EIA assessment, and it is a official appraisal, and in this appraisal we identify and we predict and we evaluate and we justify the ecological, social and related effect of a that particular project. So ecological, our environment and our land feature, our water feature, our air feature comes. Social, in social are uh, living social conditions, cultural effect after that project. If is social imbalance is there, then it is notified, and related biophysical effect. Any development which affect the biodiversity or bio nature of that particular site is also notified. So we can say overall objective of the EIA is to design developmental project and activities taking into considerations the environmental perspective. So major objective in a single word is environmental perspective. So what the development we are going to do for further for any uh, site or any plant, environmental perspective should be there, and all the components comes under this environmental perspective. Now functions of EIA. So basically the functions and benefits of EIA is like opportunity for public participation. This EIA assessment directly involves the people's participation. Any project and any big project, any policy framework, if government do, they invite people's participation and the suggestions and feedback from the public. So in this way we can protect the human health, and we can use sustainable material and natural resources, and we can use natural resources in a sustainable way, and we can reduce the project cost and delay in project if the prior assessment and prior studies there. And it also minimize the risk of environmental disaster, and most of it, the government's responsibility is increased, and government has to do measure for environment conditions. Now, for legislation, like in India, we had uh, environmental impact assessment policy and rule introduced in 1994, and it is also changed in 2020 draft. Later we will discuss about it. So many countries also follow the legislation and rules about environmental impact assessment, and for any big development work there are some mandatory rules and uh, legislation, we can say policies is there, which the project has to follow. And central and state authority is having responsibility for any development and any uh, activity if take place into any state. So state government is also responsible, and then it also gives the opportunity about public awareness. Then environmental group and business community is also integrated into the process, and environmental group like NGOs and stakeholders to the environmental activities also participate, and then the any type of rule and policies framed for the betterment of the environment. So legislation part is to make some rule and bylaws for the particular subject, and then later on implement it. Now, how EIA we can do, and how EIA process goes in a systematic way. So we can divide EIA process into three basic steps. So first is preparation of the report. So any project there, we prepare the report for that particular program or particular project. So preparation of the report, then it involves screening, scoping and documentation process. So in the screening process, we determine whether EIA is required or not. First, uh, it like any project in ecologically fragile areas and falling under coastal zone regulations require an EIA. So we divide areas like this. Certain area is required EIA for certain type of project. Any big project, developmental, infrastructure project, any infrastructure which contribute to the public infrastructure, they certainly need EIA, but it depends upon the policies which project comes under the EIA. So, as example here, any ecologically fragile areas, which is ecologically important area, and coastal zone regulations policies is also there. They require the EIA. So scoping identify the concern and issues to be addressed for a particular project. It involves the following steps. So in scoping, we discuss these points. First is baseline analysis, a comparison of project induced environmental changes with the expected environmental changes without proposed project is assessed through baseline analysis. So in baseline analysis, without proposed project or without much work, we just analyze the expected environmental changes through that project and what change can occur doing that development work. So we analyze in baseline analysis about the changes, and predicted changes. And then impact prediction, we can predict the impact uh, in scoping. The prediction analysis forecast the nature and significance of the expected impact. So expected impact is also discussed in this phase and in this scoping process. And impact mitigation measures, we predicted impact here, then we mitigate those things which is coming to that project. Mitigation, how we stop to those particular measures. So environmental management plan, EMP, risk assessment report and disaster management plan are prepared to suggest remedial measures. So different plan is made to mitigate the measures to solve the problem. Like first, environmental management plan, how environmental is managed and how resources is saved. Then risk assessment report is done for that particular project. Then disaster management plan, uh, if that is hazardous project and that can cause harm to the public, it is studied. Then rehabilitation plan, if the rehabilitation is there, like we have to shift peoples from that particular area, if project need that to relocate the peoples, then this is studies and the suggested measures is done in this process. So in scoping, we have also predicted impact and then we measures and we solve those impact. Then third is documentation. So a comprehensive report is prepared which summarizes the description of the project, regional settings, baseline conditions, and impact prediction and important finding of the study. So documentation we do for a comprehensive report, and we sum up those uh, which we have done in those in prior process. And next process comes the review process, review and decision making. Now we have made the report and we have made the documents. Now we have to review and we have to take decision. So impact assessment division review the application accompanied by the document of EIE and EMP report. So no objection certificate, risk assessment and emergency preparedness plan, rehabilitation plan, detail of public hearing, clearance from airport authority and state forest department is done, and the IA is free to conduct site visit if considered necessary. So impact assessment division do these uh, activity and this various certificate is obtained. Now based on the EIA review and other information, the IA either grants or reject the environmental clearance to the project. So based on the EIA review and other information, and upon this review, the committee decide whether to reject this project or accept. So after these thoroughly process, the project is passed or project is rejected. Now, third process is involve post-project monitoring (PPM). So, the PPM ensure the implementation in accordance with the measure specified while providing the environmental clearance certificate (EC). So, EC or environmental clearance certificate is then only given if we also implement those measures into the project which we have mapped in our study. So implementation is necessary according to the measure we have find out in our study that this impact is uh, going to happen on those site, and we have to take measure to save the environment in this way. Then the project and the measure is implemented in that project, and we get the environmental clearance and EC certificate. So it performs a dual task of identifying the actual environmental impact of the project and implementation of the desired mitigation measure of the EMP. So it PPM process is also monitor the actual environmental impact and actual conditions on the site, and simultaneously is implement the desired solution and desired mitigation to that proposed site, and that we do in our EMP plan and environmental management plan. So by this introductory lecture of EIA, we can conclude that in EIA process, we integrate the decision making ability with people and governments. We give adequate training to stakeholders and supporting infrastructure for purposeful monitoring and enforcement. And infrastructure and monitoring is there, and also we regularly revised our uh, study and our progressive refinement with context to that particular site or particular land, and we remove existing constraints and take care of future challenge. So we assess and we make some policies and plan for particular area, but after some time some environmental conditions is changed, and taking the environmental conditions and climate change in consideration, we can change our policy many times, and we can change for the betterment. We can make that policy flexible, and that should be the motive of EIA. Thank you.